Good morning, everyone. So today's Cooking with Panda is going to be my Passover edition. Normally we go to either my mother and father-in-law's house or my sister-in-law's house. My sister-in-law usually does most of the cooking for any of the holidays, but because of coronavirus and us being isolated, I am cooking for us, and this is my first time cooking for Passover. I normally make like a dessert, so it should be interesting. So one of the first things we're going to do is I'm going to make the eggs for the Seder plate. So there's probably going to be about 2 or 3 different videos that I'll be posting. One is stuff that I'm kind of getting done a little bit earlier in the day. It's now like 11:15. And then one for the stuff that I'm going to do later. So some of the things that I'm going to prep ahead of time is I'm going to start working on the matzo ball soup, but mainly the broth for the soup. I'm going to make the eggs for the Seder plate. I'm going to roast the lamb shanks. Then after this, I'll start working on the cookies. So I am going to use my egg cooker. You can find this on my Amazon recommendations if you go to the link in my bio if you're on my Instagram, or the link below if you are on my YouTube. So, okay, so we're gonna fill it up to the 7. So this egg cooker comes with a little measuring cup, and it tells you where to fill up depending on how you want the eggs. I've only used this to make like kind of soft boiled eggs, so this should be interesting to do the hard boiled. Alright, so we're going to place the eggs. Alright, so then we cover. Just gonna kind of set it aside here. And then when it's ready, it'll beep. So we're gonna turn it on. And that's it. We'll just kind of let the machine do its thing. So the next thing I'm gonna be working on is we're gonna get started on the broth. So I am using a recipe from the Bubbe and Me cookbook, which I have done a video about before, and I did a tomato soup from here. So it is the golden vegetable broth with dill matzo balls on page 132. So we're going to make the broth from scratch as opposed to just using store-bought stock or broth. We have some dietary restrictions in our family, 2 people who can't have salt. So a lot of the store-bought stuff is like very, very high in sodium. So we are going to make it ourselves, and then that way we have a little better control. I'm not going to be adding salt to anything I make today. So the first thing we want to do is we want 6 medium carrots. So all the vegetables here have already been washed, other than the onion, because we're just going to kind of peel out those outer layers. So we want 6 medium carrots cut into coins. I'm going to set aside the tops of the carrots to try to propagate them, which is something I've been doing a lot with my vegetables during this self-isolation quarantine thing for the last 3 weeks. To chop the 4 stalks of celery. I am also propagating the celery. I cut off the bottom and I have it in some water right now. Okay. It does call for a parsnip. I couldn't find any parsnips. I went to 2 different grocery stores, so we're gonna have to leave that one out. Doesn't need to be anything fancy. we're gonna go to step 1 for the broth. So I have the stock pot is heated to like medium high. So we're gonna put 2 tablespoons of olive oil. We are going to add the onions, carrots, and celery, which I already put in this bowl together. We're going to cook for about 10 minutes. So, I'm going to put a little bit of cold water on my beautiful burn that just happened. Then we will get started with the next step. Not my first burn while cooking, won't be the last. Next step. We want 6 cloves of garlic. Just went off for the eggs, so I turned it off. I want to make sure we don't let any of the vegetables burn, so you want to stir it. Ginger. So this is kind of how I tend to peel my ginger. Just take a spoon, just kind of scrape off that top layer. We want a teaspoon and a half. It's time to chop mushrooms. We are going to add in the ginger and garlic. And cook for about 1 minute. After that's cooked for a minute, we are going to add in the mushrooms, and we're going to cook for about 5 to 7 minutes. So while that is cooking, we are going to cut up the zucchini. So we want to do halved and then cut into half moons. basil. Next we're going to add the zucchini and cook for about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, so now we're going to add 8 cups of water. So we're going to wait for it to boil. Once it boils, we're going to add in the basil, and then we're going to lower it and simmer it. So it's starting to boil, so we're going to put in the basil. Then we're going to move it to low. We're just going to let it simmer there. It says about an hour. I might let it simmer, just not even simmer, just stay on very low throughout the day. And that way it's a nice, very, very flavorful broth. So we want to take the eggs. They're still very hot. Okay, and then we're going to fill the bowl with some cold water. I'm just going to put them in the fridge. They're a lot easier to peel when they are cold. And we don't need these until later today. So we have the soup going on a nice low temperature. We have the eggs done, and next I'm going to work on the bone shank. Okay, so for the bone shank, for those who don't know, you can typically get the bone for free at the butcher at your grocery store. So for me, I went to Publix. So we're going to unwrap them. Okay. We are going to set the oven to 400 degrees. Okay. And then we want to make sure to trim any of this extra meat off of the bone. Okay. So once the shank bones are cleaned off, you're going to put them in the oven to roast for about 60 minutes. So next we're going to be working on the matzo balls for the soup. So I had taken out 2 tablespoons of this stock that we made and set it aside. We are going to take 4 eggs. So we're going to beat the eggs, and then we're going to add in 1 cup of matzo meal. So we're also going to mix in 1/4 cup of olive oil. 2 tablespoons of vegetable stock. And 2 tablespoons of, so it's supposed to be fresh dill, so because this is super compact, I'm not going to do the full 2 tablespoons. and chill for 30 minutes. Have it covered, and now to chill. Okay, so while the matzo is chilling, we are going to strain the broth. So we pulled out some of the carrots to add into the final soup just to give it a little bit extra color. So we're going to scoop out the soup and just strain it. Taking out the chilled matzo ball mix. Okay, I want to make sure our hands are nice and oiled. We are going to take a small scoop of the mixture. We're going to roll it into a ball, and then we are going to place into the pot of water. Okay. I'm very scared of burning myself. So I'm going to do this with a spoon, as we saw earlier. So that's one. You don't want to compress the ball. It's two. This gave me about 16 matzo balls. Okay, so timer is already set. I had it set for something that's in the oven. So we're going to let it simmer covered for about 25 minutes. So we're going to lower the heat. We're going to cover it. Alright, so matzo ball soup should be ready in about 25 to 30 minutes.